The living room glowed with a warm light of birthday candles and the bright colors of pink and yellow streamers hanging from the ceiling. Balloons, some floating lazily and others rolling across the carpet, filled the space with a sense of celebration. A chocolate cake, its rich scent filling every corner, sat proudly on the table, its surface crowned with 8 little candles waiting to be lit. Leela sat cross-legged on the floor in the middle of it all, her golden yellow dress fanning out like a little sunburst around her. Her hair was tied neatly with ribbons, and her eyes sparkled each time one of her friends giggled or passed her a slice of cake. She should have been the happiest little girl in the world, but every few moments, her gaze wandered to the corner of the room, to the chair her mother had placed there. It wasn't just any chair. It was the same one her mother had set out for every birthday, and every year, it stayed empty. Leela didn't fully understand why, but she knew it was meant for her dad. She remembered him only in flashes, strong arms lifting her high into the air, a deep laugh that made her feel safe, and the faint smell of cologne when he hugged her. Those memories felt like dreams now, too far away to hold on to. Her friends didn't notice her glancing toward the empty chair. They were too busy playing games and making wishes for extra frosting. But her mother noticed. From across the room, she saw the way Leela's fingers fidgeted with a bracelet she'd just given her, a delicate silver band with tiny star charms that jingled softly whenever she moved. Leela whispered something under her breath, her voice almost lost beneath the chatter and music. But her mother, who had trained herself to read every unspoken word on her daughter's lips, caught it. "I wish Dad could see me now." The words pierced her heart like a quiet arrow. She turned away, pretending to straighten the cake knife on the table, but really, she was hiding the tears that threatened to spill. Birthdays were supposed to be about joy, but for Leela, there was always a shadow, an empty space in the room and in her heart, reserved for the man who wasn't there to see her grow. The moment everyone had been waiting for finally arrived. The cake was placed in front of Leela, and the room seemed to hold its breath. 8 candles flickered in the soft glow of the living room, their tiny flames swaying like they were dancing just for her. Her friends began to chant, "Make a wish. Make a wish." While her mother stood beside her, smiling, though her eyes carried the quiet weight of something deeper. Leela stared at the glowing candles, her small hands folded in front of her, and she thought about all the things an 8-year-old might want: new dolls, the bike she had seen in the store window, a trip to the zoo. But none of those wishes felt right. Instead, her heart pulled her toward the only thing she truly longed for. She closed her eyes tight, so tight that little wrinkles formed at the corners, and in the stillness of her mind, she whispered, "I wish Dad could come." When she opened her eyes, she took a deep breath and blew out the candles in one steady puff. The room erupted in cheers and applause, but to Leela, the sound faded into the background. For a fleeting moment, she imagined the chair in the corner wasn't empty anymore, that her father was sitting there with a proud smile, clapping louder than anyone else. But when she looked, the chair remained vacant, and the illusion crumbled. Later that evening, after the guests had gone home and the laughter had dissolved into quiet, her mother tucked her into bed, smoothing the blankets around her like she always did. The faint hum of the refrigerator downstairs was the only sound in the house. Leela's voice was soft, almost hesitant, when she asked, "Mom, if I wish hard enough, do you think he'll come?" Her mother froze, her fingers pausing mid-tuck. She had always dodged this question, deflecting it with vague answers or cheerful distractions. But tonight, there was no escaping it. Looking into her daughter's hopeful eyes, she felt the words she'd been holding back for years pressing at the edge of her lips. She realized she couldn't let her daughter keep waiting for someone who would never walk through the door again, not without telling her the truth. Her mother sat down slowly on the edge of the bed, the mattress dipping under her weight as she gathered her thoughts. For a long moment, she simply looked at Leela, memorizing the innocence in her face, knowing that after tonight, something would change. Taking a deep breath, she began, her voice soft but steady. "Leela, your dad loved you more than anything in this world." She paused, her throat tightening. "But he's not here because he's in heaven." The words seemed to hang in the air, heavy and still. Leela blinked, her small fingers clutching the blanket as if it could anchor her to something safe. "So he can't come to my birthday?" she asked in a voice so small, it almost broke her mother. "No," her mother whispered, forcing back the tears that blurred her vision, "but that doesn't mean he doesn't see you. I believe every time you laugh, every time you do something amazing, he's watching. And he's so proud of you." Leela stared at her, her young mind trying to wrap around the idea of someone being gone yet still watching. After a few quiet seconds, she asked, "Can I still talk to him?" Her mother smiled faintly, brushing a strand of hair from her daughter's forehead. "Always. He may not answer the way you hope, but if you close your eyes and speak from here," she gently touched Leela's chest, "I promise he'll hear you." And if you listen closely, you might even feel him hug you." Leela nodded slowly, her eyes shining, not entirely with tears, but with something gentler, something that felt like hope. That night, after her mother kissed her goodnight and closed the door, Leela lay in the quiet darkness. She closed her eyes and, in her mind, she spoke to him. She told him about the pink balloons, the chocolate cake, the bracelet with tiny stars, and how much she missed him. And then, just before sleep pulled her under, she imagined its strong arms lifting her high into the air, a deep laugh rumbling in her ears, and the safe, warm feeling of being held. It felt so real that for a moment, she almost believed he was right there in the room with her. The next morning, sunlight streamed through Leela's window, casting golden stripes across her bed. She stretched sleepily, the memory of her dream still lingering, her father's laughter, his arms lifting her high. As she rubbed her eyes, something caught her attention on the small desk by the window. A tiny package, wrapped in blue paper and tied with a silver ribbon, sat waiting for her. Curious, she slipped out of bed and picked it up, feeling the smooth wrapping under her fingertips. A note lay beneath it, written in her mother's familiar handwriting. "For you, so you'll always carry them with you." Her heart raced as she untied the ribbon and carefully peeled away the paper. Inside was a delicate silver locket, cool and smooth against her skin. With trembling hands, she opened it to find a tiny photograph on one side, her as a toddler, sitting in her father's lap, his arms wrapped protectively around her, both of them smiling. On the other side was a small engraving, "Always with you, Daddy." Leela's throat tightened, and for a moment, she couldn't speak. She fastened the chain around her neck, the locket resting gently over her heart, as if it belonged there all along. Rushing downstairs, she found her mother in the kitchen, pouring tea. Without a word, Leela threw her arms around her, holding her as tightly as she could. "This is the best gift ever," she whispered against her mother's shoulder. That afternoon, when her friends came over to play with her new toys, Leela wore the locket proudly, telling them, "My dad's watching me from the best seat in the world." They didn't fully understand, but Leela didn't mind. She knew what it meant. As the sun began to set and the last of the pink balloons drifted against the ceiling, Leela went to the cake table, where a few candles from the day before were still stuck in the frosting. She lit one, closed her eyes, and made her wish again. But this time, it wasn't with the ache of longing, it was with a quiet certainty. Looking up at the fading sky, she smiled softly and said, "I know you see me now, Dad." And in that moment, with the evening light wrapping around her like a warm embrace, she felt a presence. Gentle and sure, as if her